think it's about not thinking about architecture as a profession. It's a way of life. It's a very standard response from designers and architects. I think it comes down to the process of making, drawing, the creative side of it is the fundamental part of who I am. You do the personality tests and they reveal that you're an artist or a pragmatist, and they always come back to say that really it's about making things. That's really what I enjoy most, and do not see it all as something that requires a split between my daily life and my profession. I certainly see myself in a spectrum of growth. Don't necessarily sort of see myself having completed something that I can necessarily reflect back on. So it's difficult. Probably same kind of thoughts that I would talk to any other younger person in the profession, and that's around making sure that you think about the knowledge base of architecture. So not just concentrate on the more ephemeral parts of the design process, but really try and claw back some of those key knowledge areas that architects seem to have been losing over the years, around science, materials, psychology of space, some of those really core things that, perhaps if more of us understood them earlier on, we'd be able to have a bigger impact in the way projects get directed. Definitely around the idea of innovation, particularly the concept of ideas. That's really where we can provide the most benefit. So it's about really that skill of putting seemingly unrelated things together, which is what the design process is all about. So concepts like, I think of some examples, the adjacent possible, the notion that there's this shadow future out there that is, at any point in time, is a shadow future that you can actually recombine all the existing conditions and create something new. And what's really interesting about that is that it's a heuristic thing. Once you actually take that first step, lots of other possibilities open up. So that skill to be able to engage with ideas and assembling existing things into something new is definitely should be the architect's real primary skill. It's really talking about or understanding the rest of the world in a similar way that we understand humans and nature generally. And that is one that is about not a series of individual elements, but a series of systems and interconnected adjacencies and trade-offs. So I guess another way to look at it is we design the built environment for us, for people, so we should be thinking about it as a natural extension of ourselves, almost like a meta skin, if you like, so that the way we engage with the world and our built environment could better be understood as if that environment is basically an extension of ourselves from a human biology point of view. And ultimately there's all sorts of aims about creating an environment that does engage more with nature, but just in terms of understanding how buildings and environments come together in a more systematic way. Really, taking the idea of physiology more than just as an analogy, but actually thinking about sharing of resources and precincts as interconnected wholes rather than separate individual objects.